Hey, Good News family. This is Tana Heineman, the host of our Now What podcast. This is where we unpack Sunday's message and we talk about how to practically apply it to our everyday lives. I love that you're here with us, and I love that we get the opportunity to spend more time with our pastors and have them teach us even more what the Word has to say about our everyday lives. We learn from Jesus that one of the best ways to grow is in community together. So join us as we unpack Sunday's message. Hey, Good News family. I'm so glad you guys are here. Look at me. I'm surrounded. And last week or a couple weeks ago, I thought we were kind of unsupervised. Now I feel incredibly out of control because I'm not really sure where it's going to go between these two brothers from another mother who I got to learn, or I got to get to know on our Africa trip a lot. So I love both of them, but I knew that if I was going to ask one to be on the podcast, I needed the other to be on the podcast simultaneously so we'd get the best versions of you guys. So this is Pat. Ooh, I was going to ask you off script or offline, but will you please pronounce your last name? Because I say it like a...
Pastor Raphael said Nikki and Emma, so Nikiema.
Bowen some.
Yes.
Ah, that means I say it right. Patrick Nikiema.
Yes.
I've been saying it right this whole time. You know this, Yahoo. And then Ethan Donica. If you know Tammy Donica, she may be walking around here slightly pregnant. That's her husband.
Pregnant,
Yeah, slightly.
Yes.
Yep. So anyways, thanks guys for taking time. And I know you've already been here all morning because it's kind of exciting around here. This is one of my favorite weeks. It is Vacation Bible School.
It is.
So you've been volunteering here already.
Yep.
How'd it go?
It was good.
First morning of Vacation Bible School.
Yeah.
Did you have to send anyone home?
Quirks? Nope.
Give anyone CPR? Send them to the emergency
No
room?
CPR.
Okay.
No blood.
All right. Well done.
Yeah.
All right.
We survived.
Good. That's good. Thank you so much for giving of your days off to come here and serve. And to all of you who serve at Vacation Bible School, it is a huge undertaking and a really huge blessing. So thank you so much. Okay. I also have to tell you that I'm highly distractible this week. So I just want to warn you. My second born is getting married on Saturday, my son.
It's awesome.
And
Congrats.
it's like a lot of details. At all times, there's something else popping up. And so we're just ready to go.
I'm
So-
distractible all the time, so it's,
You are? Good. Well,
this should work out well.
and I think it will work out great. I will not be here next week because family and friends and everybody will still be in town, so we're going to hang out. But
And y'all are going with them on their honeymoon, right?
Nate was actually just trying to gang up on them yesterday. Like, how about the last 3 days? Like, we could just come and just visit. And then Remington, our 15-year-old, was like, I want to go.
Where are they going?
Yeah, they're going to Mexico.
Wow.
I won't tell you anything more specific than that because, yeah, nobody may track them down.
Smart.
If they're smart, they haven't even told Nate because I'm getting a little nervous how much he keeps talking about it. He's jealous that they're going to the beach. Yeah. But anyways, all right, guys, I want you to tell our listeners just a little bit about you, like, who you are, your family, what you do for a living, how long you've been here, anything you think we'd like to know. You want to go first, Patrick?
Yes, I can. So my name is Patrick Nikiema. I am originally from Burkina Faso. I have been in the U.S. for only 18 years.
18?
Yes, 18 years this year. I'm married to Donna. We have 2 kids. I am a software engineer, and I have actually been going to this church since I landed in America, but I have been away for a church plant that took a long time for me to come back, but I came back and just felt like home still, and I'm still going.
That's good. What do you do? What do you say you do for a living?
I'm a software engineer for a local
I don't know what
company.
that means. What does that mean?
It means that I write code that only the computer can understand and execute.
Okay.
So when you were on your computer, it's what someone like me wrote that lets you work on your computer.
Is it hard to write?
No, it's not hard. It's basically a routine that you just need to know to switch on and off when you need it, or to follow the business logic. It's not hard. It can be intimidating, but it's not hard.
I'm intimidated. Do you like it?
I do.
Okay.
It has a lot of flexibility for me, especially now.
Yeah, we talked about because then you can go to the gym.
Go to the gym, go on vacation and not take any time off.
Yeah.
Make up your time anytime you want, work late at night or early in the morning,
Wow.
and take the day off. So it's very flexible.
That's awesome. How old are your kids?
They just turned 3 and 7.
3 and
The
7.
girl is 7, the boy is 3.
Okay. Wow, he's 3 already.
Already, yes.
That's crazy.
It's getting big.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, Ethan, tell us a little bit about you.
Well, my name's Ethan Donica. I have been going here since 2019. I'm married to my wife, Tammy, who's the global director. We have 2 kids, 14 and 5, almost 6, and then 1 due next month. So, yeah.
We have in our family of children, we have a bit of a spread. So from number 1 to number 4 is 16 years, but 1 and 2 is 9.5 years, and 3 and 4 is 5 years. So you're going to have, you got some big gaps there.
Big gaps, yeah.
Yep. There's pros and cons to it. What I really notice is that the last one is home and several years on his own because now the other ones are gone. That's the bummer part about it. But he's also getting to do things that the other ones never could have done and getting, attention in different ways. But anyways, yeah, you got it. And it goes girl, boy, girl.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay, good. And did you say what do you do for a living?
I work for the city of Omaha as a firefighter.
Okay. Do you like it? Oh.
So Chris and I were walking downtown one night, and all of a sudden the fire truck's coming by, and it went, and it was him driving.
That's terrible. Did you feel your heart? Like, did you? Yeah, exactly. That's not very nice.
And I was very proud.
Yeah, but all the kids love him.
Honked me out.
Yeah, everybody looked at you like, why are you so special?
What's up?
I'm that guy. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, do you have an official, official title?
I'm a fire apparatus engineer right now.
Okay. And a captain?
Not yet.
Yes, you are. It's a mere formality, isn't it? Can't we call you
Couple
Captain Ethan?
weeks, probably.
Couple weeks. See?
Couple weeks.
Yeah, we got to get that out there. That's important. It's a big deal. I don't know why you laugh about that. I think it's a really big deal. You don't think it's a big deal?
All right, so just to get the mentality of this guy, tell them what you did a couple of years in a row, right?
Yep.
There's a guy named David Goggins. He's a former Navy SEAL. He's a wild man in his training and how he pushes his body and then pushes other people to do the same. And they took on one of his challenges. Why don't you tell people?
Yeah, so it's 4x4 by 48. So every 4 hours, you run 4 miles for 48 hours.
Wow.
So at the end of it, you've ran 48 miles in 2 days.
Oh, did you do it?
I've done it 3 times now.
Did you walk it all?
No, I ran it.
Were you sore at the end?
Not really.
Does it work like because of the spacing? You're like you recover and it's like brand new, or do you eventually get like okay?
Your body starts to tire down, but it's more. I mean, a lot of it is mental. Like we were talking about it. You think about it. You can walk 4 miles in an hour. Like it's not really that hard.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the mental toughness to say like, yeah, I'm gonna wake up at midnight and 4 in the morning and go do this, and then 4 hours later I'm gonna do it again.
Yeah.
4 hours later I'm gonna do it again.
I do like 3 by 3 by 3, 3 miles every 3 weeks, every 3 years.
No. You've got new running shoes now. You
true.
got to do it
No,
more
it's
often.
true.
You got to earn those shoes, dude. Like you can't go 3 weeks, 3 years, whatever. No.
I really need to get new shoes. I've had the same shoes for like 12 years.
Okay, listen.
Falling
You're getting
apart.
to the age where your body will start to tell you that's no longer
It has
acceptable.
been telling me for a while. Sure.
Before your
still
knees
don't
get
do
bad enough that you're going to need surgical help, please go get the shoes. If we need to like give you a loan or something, if we need to take you shopping.
No loans, Tom.
No loans. I'm
No loans.
sorry.
Don't-
Yeah, you should say
don't
that
say
too. If you want help with your finances and learn how to spend your money God's way or whatever, Ethan is our Financial Peace University coach and facilitator. And I think people nowadays, Financial Peace University is such a weird title. It's not as common, I don't think, anymore. And people hear university and like, what am I going to college classes about finances? And I wish there was, besides saying FPU, which then doesn't make any sense to anyone, I wish there was a new way to say it. But we will be offering that again in the fall.
Yep.
And I would highly, highly, highly recommend, if you have not been through FPU, you need to go through it, and probably a couple times, because
For sure.
it sets us free in our finances, and we absolutely love the principles. And yes, of course, do not take a loan out for the shoes. I'm so sorry.
for the shoes.
Pay cash.
If it's in your budget.
If it's in your budget.
Only if it's in your budget.
And if it's not in your budget, keep wearing the shoes.
Yes.
Okay. Got it. Okay, let's jump into the book of James. We actually only have 3 more messages in James. I looked that up after you were talking on Sunday. We'll have a little bit of a break next week because we have a guest speaker, and then 3 more messages on James. And it's only a 5-chapter book. So, that it takes us a little while, but I actually love it. Do you guys like it? I'm putting you on the spot. When we do a book study like that,
And feel free to say no.
please say no if you want to.
Remember, there was a season we went through Luke for a year and a half.
Yes.
So y'all need to suck it up if you don't.
And I did a James study years and years ago in a life group here, and it took us 2 years to get through the book of James. So this felt really fast. Yeah.
I like the fact that we are not rushing through the whole book. Like we don't even go one chapter a Sunday. So it's just a few verses that gives you time to ponder on it and before you keep moving.
It's good. Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, probably. It's good. He's ready.
Keeping his
Typical
man
guy
of many
response,
words
yeah.
tonight or today. Yes. Can you guys think of anything that stands out to you, either new in the book of James or maybe you haven't thought about in a while that even you, PJ, in studying, things that have stood out as we've been going through the book of James? Or a challenge that you feel after you read it?
For me, there is a lot of practical advice, if I can call them advice, that James is giving us. And as much as it was written many, many years ago, they're all relevant in today's world. And they're giving us a blueprint for living a life that pleases God. It's hard, but we have the blueprint to follow.
That's good. It's really good.
Yeah, I mean, teacher always learns the most. And so when we dig in, it's kind of like back in the day, there used to be something on a music channel, the story behind the music. Oftentimes, we quote things or we learn things and we, verses or whatever, but then when you do the study behind them, it really opens it up. And I think there's a lot of things that I pulled from it. And I think James is just in your face. There's a way to live it, and we need to live it.
Yeah, I think so too. It's just, it's a better way to live. It's not always easy, and it's principles for us to live by. And you can kind of see, you can read through, like, I think you did it on Sunday when you said, here's the definition of patience, and then what would the opposite of that be? So we can actually learn how to ask ourselves those questions when we're reading and think and be able to evaluate, am I living this or am I living more here? And what does that look like? I really loved Pastor Greg's message. I think it was his most recent one where he talked about the two, he said, he pulled in what is the greatest commandment when Jesus is asked that question, I think in Matthew, and he pulled that into his James message and said, love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and spirit, whatever. And then second is like it, love your neighbor as yourself. But he said it really should be 1 and 1A, not 1 and 2, because you seriously can't do number 2 if you're not doing number 1. And I have always thought that to myself of like, they're so together, you can't do one without the other, but I never knew a way to say it, and that made so much sense to me. And I've already used it several times in talking with people, that's what I love. It's like something new can pop out of something you've read 100 times, and now it's going to go with you for a long time, and God's going to use it when you're talking to other people or teaching your children or whatever. That's what I love. Do you have anything stood out to you? You don't have to. No? Just that.
It's great.
What'd PR say? What's the book of James called in the Spanish Bible? Santiago.
Santiago.
Yes. Wow. Which that doesn't sound anything like James.
It does sound cooler, though.
It does sound a lot cooler.
It does. All right. Maybe we should have got some merch that said Santiago on it or something.
Or Pierre, if you want to say it in French.
Oh.
Pierre.
Pierre. What if we had all the names?
What is happening in these different places?
What do you mean?
Well, I guess we said James.
Where'd we take that from?
Like, how did we get to that?
Yeah.
Oh.
Pierre,
They said
Santiago,
Pierre is
James.
Peter.
Oh.
James is Jacques.
Jack.
Jacques.
Okay.
Jack.
Jacques.
Like Jacques.
Jacques.
CQUES.
CQ.
But
Okay.
it's pronounced just like Jack.
What? I lost him at the CQ?
Yep.
What?
UES.
That's not in there.
C and a Q do not go together. I'm so sorry. It doesn't work. Well, okay, before we lose all our listeners while we're trying to figure out the different languages, let's look at this week's message, and it was on a lovely, feel-good content, patience and patience through suffering. Like, of all things, when James says in verse 10, he says, as an example of patience in the face of suffering, like, great. It's hard enough to be patient in just your normal everyday life, and then you add suffering to the mix, and we're still expected to be patient. You defined patience as able to accept or tolerate delays, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. I'm wondering, we talked when you were prepping this message, it's hard enough with the first half of that definition, and then you add the without becoming annoyed or anxious.
Right.
I'm pretty sure I don't have patience. I'm just gonna be real honest. The becoming annoyed or anxious is the part that needs a little help. So in your mind, you guys talking, I want to know how you guys hear it. What would patience practically look like? Or maybe what does the opposite of it look like in your life, or maybe lives of those around you? Great.
I'll go first.
Okay.
I think it's being consistent. You know, I feel like some days I handle certain things better than other days. And, you know, sometimes I can be really frustrated by a small thing.
Mm-hmm.
When, if you were to stop and go, the big picture, this is very small. And then there are times I feel like I handle challenges fairly well, but then I'm crushed by the challenges on other days or at other times. And I just think the consistency component is really what patience is all about, being the same in whatever comes your way and approaching it in whatever comes your way. And I think it's a skill. It takes time to develop that.
I will add on to being consistent, to doing what you can and accepting how far you can go for today. And tomorrow you get up and you try again.
And I love the accepting that component, because I think that is some of the frustration. It's outside of my control. We want to do something.
That's one of my top parts that I loved out of emotionally healthy spirituality. And I remember you were talking about it when we as a staff went through it, of accepting your limitations. And as a human, especially depending on how you're wired, you just want to do things well, and you get frustrated when you can't execute the way in your mind you want to execute. And then you add loving Jesus and really wanting to honor who he is and what he's done, and yet still feeling like I want to give you excellence, but I have these limitations that then drive me nuts, which right in that phrase right there means I'm lacking patience. And you pulled that out on Sunday about even lack of patience can be how I treat my own self in the process of becoming and in transformation, that accepting your limitations. Well, you should know better. Well, you're a pastor. Well, you should, I do that to myself, and I can find that I can do that to other people, especially if we claim to be Christ followers. Do you notice that? Do you have a little higher standard of people who claim to follow Jesus?
Sure.
Like,
Yeah.
you should know better, or you should have this figured out.
Absolutely.
Or, I hate even admitting it, but it's what it is. Anyone else? Okay. Okay, look at verse, verse 7. He says, see how the farmer waits for the land to yield its valuable crop, patiently waiting for the autumn and spring rains. And then you too be patient. And we live in farm country. We tend to forget that a lot and just eat and do and take for granted what a farmer does. And I'm certain I couldn't be a farmer because first of all, I never long for rain. I'm just gonna be real honest. I don't want it to rain. It messes up my plans. It messes up my hair. It's annoying to me. You too, Ethan.
Keep your hat on.
Yeah, just keep your hat on.
Sure.
Full head of hair, everybody.
Don't make me make you take your hat off, because the glare of the lights will, But anyways, just, rain kind of puts me in a bad mood sometimes or whatever. But thinking of actually respecting the rain and what its job is, naturally for the farmers and then spiritually for us. And he says autumn and spring rains specifically. So what is that? It has a certain purpose at those times. What do you see as the purpose of those rains?
As I look at it, first of all, I love how James and Jesus, he would always use things people are familiar with, right? And there are certain things that are seasonal. And I think he's trying to, the point of in nature, we see things that are seasonal in nature. They're going to be the same way in our spiritual walk. And so we can pull from that knowing God's going to send things at different times at the right time. And then there's going to be, seasons of dryness or whatever that you're going to have to hang in there and wait. And they know every season there's going to be a harvest. if everything works the way that it's supposed to, not something catastrophic, there's going to be a harvest. And at the right time, there's going to be what's needed. And other times you're doing your part, but you're going to receive a harvest. And I think when we get into something that's a trial or a difficulty or a challenge, raising kids, diagnoses, whatever it may be, you find yourself where it seems like this is never going to end. It's always going to be this way. And I think James is going, hey, wait, be patient, watch what the Lord's going to do. There are seasons to this.
And yes, it rains during the fall and spring seasons. But outside of those 2 seasons, the farmers still have something to do. So even though you are wanting to farm when it's raining, when it's not raining, as a farmer, there's still something that you need to do while you're waiting for the right season for seeding or for harvesting. So while we're waiting, we don't always have to just sit and wait and be idle, but there is something that we should be doing in our waiting.
And I think in the, if we were to look at other verses, waiting spiritually is in anticipation. So it's not, this disconnected, it is leaning in and watching and waiting because what we desire is going to happen.
It's good. I even think James is fairly kind in this because he brings up autumn and spring rains, but he doesn't bring up winter. And winter has a role too.
It does.
And that can be a cold, dark, seemingly non-productive season that really is about death and everything's dead on the ground, sorry. But there's all this stuff going on underground and this preparation that has to happen even in the winter.
You could say it's in some ways like rest.
Oh, I see it as death.
I mean, it is that too, but I mean, it's
Recovery. It's
Yeah.
recovery.
Yeah. I guess that's true. I don't see. I'm going to learn something new. I take it as negative. Winter, Sarah's here. She knows. Winter is just.
Well, negative, it is here, and literally negative.
Negative, for sure.
That's true. Yes.
It is below zero here,
Yes.
for sure.
But again, I do think there is so much happening in all of that. And I love, Patrick, where you're going with, depending on which season it is, there are things to be doing. Even when things are growing in summer and it looks like things are thriving, it's like every time I turn around, there's more weeds coming up. There's more dead flowers that I have to, take off so that more will bloom. There's work to be done. And I love
Patrick,
that.
could you tell us the positives in this and tell Tana the good things that are happening in this?
I said good things because everything's growing, but there's
Dead in the winter, there's death in the summer.
I'm a recovering pessimist.
It's
you call
true.
me.
It is true. All right.
Okay, let me transition to the part where you took this from the farmer and about the process of transformation, because he's planting the seeds, he's doing the work, but there's a process in that transformation of what he's doing, just like in us, and that we have to practice patience towards others in their transformation journey and practice patience with ourselves in our own. How does that look for you guys? Is one way harder than the other, towards others, towards yourself? What do you think? Ethan, you're quiet.
Yeah, always.
I got to pull it out of you.
Unless it's me and Patrick. Just the two.
You guys talk.
I mean, you have to work with personalities and you have to spend a lot of time with them.
Yep.
How do you deal with people who aren't of faith, or they don't maybe pull their weight, or they tend to create issues, and they're probably union, so they're guaranteed to a degree a spot? How do you handle that?
So work life, obviously we live at the fire station for 24 hours a day, and so it's a third of our life that we're with these other guys, and it's that. I mean, I think more than anything, it's just trying to live out and be that light and treat people well and be different. And I mean, those small things, seemingly small things, make a big difference. Choosing not to cuss at work. Like, guys will be around me, and I don't know if you guys know much about the military. Everybody cusses in the military. It's not like a negative thing. It's the culture, and it's the same thing at the fire station. And so it's weird if you don't. And so it's just funny because people say something, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, oh, sorry, Ethan.
I love that.
And I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't bother me.
Right.
So yeah, I think just being able to express love and stand up for those things that I feel like are important to my faith and just live it out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I find it harder for me to be patient with myself than to be patient with other people. A lot of times I wait before I decide. So if someone offends me, for example, I actually shut down to think about it before I react. So that gives me time to be patient or to think through things. Sometimes, for things to turn around. But if it is for myself, I just cannot wait to do what I think I must do. So it's harder for me to be patient with myself. So I hold myself, to perform or accomplish harder than I give to other people.
And I think, we have this interesting job because our job is, we both have very practical and tactical things that we do in our positions, and yet we're dealing with personalities and, different wirings and things like that. And so, because we spend so much time together, conflict is going to be a natural, component of that. And there are times probably we get impatient. We have a job to do, and if somebody's not doing their part, and that may be the only time that year they don't do their part, and yet there's a deadline and we need to get things moving. You could see where that creates friction, and there's a lot of opportunity to practice, patience and forgiveness and those kind of things in that kind of tension.
I think right around there is like where in James, he goes right into don't grumble at each other, like while you're waiting or whatever. And I loved how you talked about grumbling out loud or mumbling or murmuring on the inside.
That's all of us.
It is all of us.
Yeah.
And that's that whole progress and you might be winning that, okay, I kept my mouth shut. But
you're yelling inside.
Plenty going on in here.
For sure.
And it made me think of my favorite thing from my mentor of that spiral staircase where I need to celebrate, you need to celebrate, we need to celebrate when I kept my mouth shut. That's a win.
Sometimes that's a victory.
That is a big victory, right? And then you're like, gosh, I'm back here again. Like, why am I? Okay, fine. I've gotten to the point where maybe I'm not saying something to them, but now I'm thinking all the things. And God, in his kindness, is always transforming us and making us more and more like him. So I'm working on both, but I'm working a lot on the whole what's going on inside my head, even though I didn't say anything.
And that word against, we grumble against is like from the standpoint of looking down or speaking down on somebody. And I think a lot of us are guilty. And learning how to change the language, either have the conversation or don't allow it to stay.
Yeah.
Because it'll grow.
Yeah.
Right. I think it's hard too, because you can get comfortable with getting to the point where you are good at just not saying it out loud.
Yes.
But then you don't ever check yourself on what you're saying in your head. And so then you just keep going back to it and you're like, wow, I have a really negative attitude about a lot of stuff. So
Yes.
yeah.
And it can kind of creep up on you.
100%.
And all of a sudden you're like, what is the matter with me?
Yeah.
And maybe it's because I've let a lot of stuff build up and some stuff get out of hand
100%.
in my head. And
Yeah, we tend to stuff it, don't we?
Yeah.
We don't tend to deal with it. We just tend to put it in the closet until it busts open.
Yeah. I want to transition to the harder part of this message, and that is we're talking about having patience. And we can talk about these simpler things, and activities in our life or whatever, but then he transitions into, let's give you an example of patience, and it's in suffering. So then he just took that to a whole new level of, now I want you to practice this in the midst of suffering. And PJ gave a lot of different examples of suffering. Suffering doesn't care about the letters after your name, the amount of money you make, or how often you've obeyed him. There is suffering that comes from living in a fallen world where there's no perfection. There's suffering that comes when we make sinful decisions and we experience the effects and consequences of that. There's suffering that comes at the hands of people. sins of commission and omission. I wanted to pause because it's actually 2 weeks in a row that we've used that phrase, and I don't think that everybody knows what that means. So will you please tell us the difference between sins of commission and sins of omission?
Yeah, sins of commission are the things that people do that are wrong, and they are either intentionally or willfully sinning.
Like we are committing a
Doing
sin.
it.
We are acting and doing something.
And then there are things we're supposed to do and we don't do. And so omission means what should have been done is left out.
And we're omitting it. Yeah. Like when you ask your kids a question and you have to pull out like, well, you are telling me the truth, but you're not telling me the whole truth. And so you're omitting things,
Right.
which is in essence, it's a lie in itself because
Or,
you're keeping that truth.
You know, I sinned against somebody, I said something I shouldn't have, and I never asked for forgiveness. I never admit my wrong. Or, you know, dads do it when they don't show up. Moms may, you know, whatever, react. And there's some kind of, I need to humble myself, I need to make it right, or I need to do something, and I don't do it, which brings alignment, and it's just left like a wound.
You talked about suffering that comes from close interactions that are inevitable because of love or misplaced hope or expectation.
I think it's one of the harder sufferings.
What is that one? Tell me more.
You know, you love your kids or you love your spouse, and because you've given your heart over, because we don't just give our hearts over to everything and everyone, and then we're let down or we're disappointed, or man, we see a struggle that we can't help. Kids have to walk out their own faith, or they're going through a financial or a emotional or a health issue, and there's not much you can do. That kind of pain is difficult to deal with. That's suffering.
And you also talked about suffering that comes with knowledge. I loved that. Ignorance is bliss, and to know something should be different and it isn't can be a form of suffering. And Sarah and I will talk about sometimes that our personalities, we are strong empaths. So we tend to feel people's aches and hurts and heartache probably more than what we should. And it's hard to figure out how to level that.
Scientifically, I think empaths and psychopaths have a lot. No, that's not true. I just, any chance I get.
Oh my gosh. Now he just called us.
No, but it's true.
Kicked out.
Tana is one of the great, she's not just a feeler, because it's not that. It is deep care. Like we're going to help solve this. We're going to come alongside. I can still remember you helping to do the fundraiser for the woman that was dying of cancer, you know, just those kind of things. And it's across the board. So empaths have this real connection to wanting to help somebody.
Thank you. But it is also...
I still keep it in the back of my mind. It could be possible psychopath, but...
It might be, because it could drive you crazy. But because there is that thing too of like, I'll say sometimes like, I know what could help you and I can't make you want it. And so then you want it for them more than they want it for them. And that hurts. And you don't even know. You can't sleep. You make poor boundary decisions of like, you call me anytime you need and I'll be right there and help you. And like, whoa, we got to settle down because I can't take over their pain and hold it myself. It's not my job. And they have to want healing and things like that. So that's how I heard that, because it's a tendency that I have. But I know both of you have gone through different forms of suffering. I think too, sometimes as humanity, we compare suffering and the depths of it, and that's wrong. And I do it sometimes too. And even sometimes I will to my kids and say, well, yes, that's a loss. And yes, you're heartbroken about that. However, somebody over here did it. And I don't give space for, if this person going through this major thing would have been only going through this, they too would have been sad. But I take permission away sometimes and say, well, somebody has it worse. So we
do the same for us.
Oh, true.
We tend to minimize what we're going through, and yet we stuff our grief, or we're not honest about it.
Yeah.
We don't share it, and that becomes, you know, poisonous.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know why this is randomly coming in my mind. I can lose my puppy or I can lose my parent. And we go, well, of course the parent is way, way worse. Yes. But the loss of the puppy that you loved is still a loss and still a pain.
Right.
And we have to make space that we have to still feel and heal and grieve from those losses. Anyways, that I'm sorry for any, grandmas or mothers or whatever, that you're more important than puppies, but puppies are pretty great.
There you are.
Would you guys maybe share in a way that you've learned patience and suffering in your own journeys?
Sure.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, I feel like patience and suffering was one of those things that, like, we can get that misconception that, like, we have to be happy about it. And it's like, yeah, like, you can be miserable in that suffering and still go through it. I mean, Job did, It's not like he was like, this is great, give me some more, like,
I feel so close to God.
I love you so much, please, may I have another?
Yeah.
But I think I always go back to this. I feel like when you go through your life and you have a history with God, you can relate back to that. And in those moments of suffering, you're like, okay, I didn't understand this either, but you brought me through it. And so to be able to look back on that stuff, to me, is huge.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, I was sitting here thinking which example I should give here. I hope.
We can name several.
All right. So yes. So even one example of our suffering, me and my wife, that would probably be news for most here on this table even, is that most of you know the birth of Christelle, how it came about, but how did we get pregnant with Christelle was something else as well. So for 6 years, we have been trying to become pregnant, and it was not possible, to the point we were diagnosed with unexplained infertility. So, the process was so long, trying things, and to the point that doctors said, we don't know what to do. We're just going to refer you to the infertility treatment. We at first didn't want to do it, but we were like, okay, that's the best judgment that doctors could give us, so we're going to just follow through. We went to the doctor's office, and they gave us a whole spiel of what are our options. They gave us 2 weeks to go home and come back and pick one option. We went back 2 weeks, we were pregnant.
Wow.
So when Christelle was at the hospital, it's only 7 months at the hospital. I feel like...
Wait, hold on. For people who don't know, she was at the hospital for 7 months after she was born.
That's correct.
Right?
Yes.
Because Donna gave birth to Christelle at how many weeks pregnant?
28 weeks.
28 weeks pregnant. Yes, and Christelle lived.
I'm sorry, 28 is for the second son, the second
okay.
child, but for Christelle it's 24.
That's what I thought.
Yes,
Okay, 24, and then
Christelle.
PJ was
Yes,
28.
20,
So
yes, yes.
sheer miracles.
So
Jesus.
it feels like the 6 years of waiting to become pregnant was longer than the 7 months at the hospital with her.
Wow.
But at the same time, what the lesson it gave me is that in our waiting, God has a perfect plan for us and for Him to be glorified. A lot of time I keep thinking, God did not want to give any credit to a human for us to become pregnant. We tried everything. Humans exhausted all of the knowledge they had, all of the technology they had, and they could not help us. And God said, well, you waited maybe long enough for me. I'll show you what I can do for you. And that makes me think that, in our patience while we are waiting, God has a bigger miracle or a bigger gift for us.
Did you ever, 7 months you're in the hospital with your baby girl, do you ever question God in that of wait a minute, you made us wait 6 years, now we have this miracle, but then now she's fighting for her life?
Yes, especially during the first few days. It was, a flashback looking at how we happened to become pregnant, and now we are losing all of that we were hoping that we were through. And at that point, it was so hard that there was no hope. Even doctors had said that in the best case scenario, she had 6% chance to live. So to me, there was no chance, 6%. But every single day, God will give us a small miracle, although we're waiting for a big miracle. But every single day, God would give us a small miracle. And it wasn't until we realized that we should not be focusing on the big miracle to rejoice or to know that God is with us, but it is acknowledge the small miracles in our waiting that helped us navigate throughout the whole waiting season.
That's really good. That's perspective through suffering. So while we're waiting for the big miracle, we need to be paying attention to all the little things, day to day, seemingly little things that he's doing to even sustain you while you're waiting for the big miracle.
Yeah. And sometimes even the big miracle would be a problem if we get it just at once, because in the example of our daughter, she was not even 1 pound, but we cannot take a baby that's not maybe 5 pounds at least home.
Yeah.
How can we get the big miracle overnight? But that's what we were hoping for. We wanted to just take her home.
Yeah.
But it was not possible. God could probably make it happen, but it's going to give us more trauma.
Yeah, they're not going to let you go because the car seat rules. Like, you put a 1 pound baby in a car seat.
Right. So, the waiting has taught us a lot. And of course, in the waiting, there is milestones that we should celebrate while we're waiting for the biggest miracle.
So good.
That's one of my favorite things about Patrick is there's two things about you. One, everybody knows you just based on your smile. You're always smiling. And anybody who knows you, there's always a plus to everything. No matter how bad the situation is, he's like, yeah, we were just glad it was only 7 months. Only 7 months. Like, yeah, just 7 months.
Right. No big deal.
I wouldn't mind being at the hospital for 7 months.
So next time,
just
Your firstborn child.
Right, with your firstborn, it's just such a mind shift that you
the
live a
second
good
time. Only 3 months the second time.
I was going to say, why don't you transition into the next phase of patience in suffering? Maybe this felt like a breeze. I'm not sure. I don't think it would have felt that way to me, but you have PJ.
Yep. Now I'm wondering, why does God always ask us to be patient? You know, sounds like it's only us. But yeah, so after our first child, Christelle, 2 years later, we thought that, we were ready for a second child, but it took us again another 2 years of trying, and there's no sign of a child coming around. And, you cannot help it but go back and think of the previous 6 years that we've been trying. Is it going to take 6 years or more this time? So, but at the same time, you know that God can do something for you. He can do anything he wants because he's done it for you before. However, as humans, you really want to believe, but unless you keep renewing your mind every day, it's hard. You believe today, thinking that, what you have gone through, but tomorrow the devil comes and whispers to you, well, that was just an accident, it's not going to happen this time. And, but fast forward, when we had our corporate fasting here every beginning of the year. Yep. So I came one time, and in my plans, it's three weeks that we pray here for our fasting. In my plan, the first week, I was going to thank God for giving us Christelle, and thank him, have a grateful heart for what we have. Then on the second week, I was going to ask God to give us a child number 2. On Friday of the first week, I walked in, and I was a little bit late, he knows about that, but that was the only time I was late to something. So I walked in, and Pastor Jason was there talking, and he was asking if anybody has a request for this year to come up, and then they're going to get prayed for. And in my mind, I cannot go because I had said that I will only ask for something the second week. But that was the first week on the Friday, and I was like, well, I blame it on Pastor Jason. He asked me, so I'm just gonna go, break my own rule, but go because he asked. So I went up, and it happened to be that Pastor Raphael and Pastor Mark came up and asked me, what was my request for this year, and I told them that we are hoping for a 2022 baby, and that was on Friday. So they prayed for us, carried on with the fasting. The next Tuesday of the next week, when I was supposed to ask, I don't know if I even asked, but on Tuesday I was at home working, and there comes Donna down the stairs and asking, guess what? Well, I'm just, working through my lunch. And she showed me a positive pregnancy.
Wow.
Actually, to go back a little bit, so when Pastor Raphael and Pastor Mark prayed for us, for me, actually, Donna didn't come. Pastor Raphael prophesied that in 2022, we are going to hope for a healthy baby boy. So I still remember HBB, healthy baby boy. Tuesday, we got our sign of our baby. So we already have the baby, the second B. And then I was still thinking, well, he said healthy baby boy. Okay, we'll see if, especially the healthy part was hard to accept or be happy about. But as time went by, the first time we had our daughter, we didn't check for her gender. We were like, whatever we get, that's, we just want a child. The second time we said, well, just tell us. We don't care, but just tell us what we are having. And when the time came for the testing to be done, we were having a boy. But the hardest remained there. So in our process still, the healthy part was what was the hardest to believe and that we're going to have. But fast forward, like I was saying, Chriselle was born at 24 weeks. And at 24 weeks, we could not breathe at all. We were holding our breath because we didn't know what would happen. 24 weeks, whatever made Chriselle come early was under control. We passed our 24, 26, 28. I worked from home. I drove Donna to her appointment because every time I wanted to go with her. I went in with her and just checked and said, everything looks good. You can go home and come at your next appointment. And it was weekly because of her precondition. I remember that day I asked the nurse, did you check how much our baby weighed today? And she said, no, the doctor did ask us to check for that. And she said, well, if you want us to check that, we can just go back and check. And she went back and checked. And then she came back and said, the doctor needs to talk to you. And doctor came back and said, well, the baby needs to come out now. I remember we did not have any pregnancy pictures. How do you call it?
Oh, ultrasound pictures.
No, announcement pictures.
Oh, yeah, of her pregnant.
Yep, because, we were. So we stood just in front of the maternity to take our pictures before our delivery. That was our pictures. And my wife, Donna, was just crying. She just didn't expect it, especially because, what made Chriselle come early was under control. We were hoping for a full pregnancy. But right there in front of the maternity, I turned around and told her, Donna, when we were prayed on at church, we were told that we are going to hope for a healthy baby boy. The two have come to pass. The third part, we don't need a 40 weeks pregnancy to have a healthy boy. We already have our baby boy. The healthy part can happen at 28 weeks. And that is what calmed her down. And we went back and told the doctors that we are ready to have the baby. We had the baby, stayed at the hospital for only 3 months this time, took him home. His name is PJ. All the time, I wonder what Pastor Jason was when he was a kid, because he is handful. He has no health issues at all. Just keeps us busy.
Very busy.
So, but patience always pays off. God has a better plan, a better outcome for us when we are patient through the seasons, through our suffering, through our waiting. God always rewards us with His best.
That's good.
And I love that. Patience pays. It's
so
true.
I can't remember if you said it on Sunday or if you said it when we were talking about this passage of scripture, but how James does go and start talking about Job. And you said, God restores all the things that Job lost, but he still had loss and grief in that suffering. And Christelle and PJ are here. They're healthy. You have your beautiful children, but there's still loss in that, just time, dreams, just even continued health for them to continue to grow and maybe catch up, I guess you would say, and fears that you have because of losses that have happened before, like that is real.
Yes.
And patience and suffering, we do get to know Jesus in a way that we wouldn't know him without it. We have a testimony to tell, but there's still some marks, I think, from those experiences.
This past Sunday, we were at a life group together with Ethan, and our prayer request was for Christelle still, because we are still patient on some of her health needs. So she still have some health issues to grow out of.
Yeah.
So as long as it's taken a long time and we have many miracles that we can hold on to, it's still hard to be patient and wait for her. Because right now we are saying it's been 7 years. She should be eating by mouth at all times. But we are still in that process, and it still requires patience. And in theory, we know that God has a better plan for us. As humans, it's hard to just wait.
But I love how he ends on a high note.
He does. Every time it's like David writing a psalm.
Oh, yeah. Where I go, I got 99% of it. But there's that 1%. So I feel like this is not good.
Right.
But he's just the opposite.
Yeah.
And I think that's what patience does, is what faith does. It goes, may not be there yet, but we're on the way.
It was, how'd you say it? It was able to accept or tolerate delays, problems, or suffering without becoming annoyed or anxious. That is what you guys are doing. Doesn't mean you don't have a weekday, or doesn't mean that
I am now annoyed by Patrick. Because he is not annoyed.
Yes, he and Donna are living it, and it might be one week you're there and Donna's weak, and then another day it might be Donna's there and you're weak, but you sustain each other. Or even like you said, you've built friendships and you go to life group and you can talk about these things, and that's, I mean, not to really promote life groups in this moment, but that is what biblical community is about, is to have faith for each other. You know, even where you guys are at in life right now and bringing a baby into the world, and it has not been easy. And you have their story ahead of you to go, okay, I'm going to keep having faith and moving forward. That is so powerful. Even when you're talking about, makes me think, one of my favorite aspects about the Old Testament is where God continues to tell the Israelites to pause and build a monument, and, you know, put some stones out there so that as the generations go through and the kids go, what's that there for? Oh, let me tell you, this is where God came through. You know, those are the powerful things of the story, and being willing to tell your story, and intentional about telling your story so that people can, that's how they learn. And what you said earlier, history with God, that's why we need it. And the best history isn't the stuff that's stuck in a book that no one ever reads. It's the stories that get told, you know, so that people can learn from it. So I love that. Thank you, Patrick, for sharing. I don't think I planned it when I asked you guys to come be on here together. And then yesterday when I was like looking through the message, I'm like, wow, you guys both have stories of different degrees of suffering, and being patient in the waiting, and having to wrestle the reality, like you said, okay, well, we've got baby, we've got boy, but I'm not sure I have faith to believe for healthy, you know, and even just, there's a journey in that. And God in his kindness and his mercy allows us to be human and go, I'm not sure I have faith to believe for that, but I'm going to keep trying to believe.
And quick, shameless plug, but like, it is easier when you have community. So, if you're not in a life group or volunteering, like, you definitely should.
I see that too. Just even in serving, it's like so much community is built
100%.
when you're serving together, and you kind of know, like, wow, you like make time in your calendar to serve the body of Christ and to serve our community who doesn't know Jesus yet. Like, you think like we do. That's kind of cool. Like, that's good friendship right there.
Yeah, because like before we had a life group, and we weren't really volunteering, like, we didn't really feel super connected to anybody at the church. And you kept pushing us to do a life group, even though we didn't want to, and it just sounded like a lot of work.
It is. It's proven
and you know what though? But it's so worth it.
Yeah.
So between doing that and then starting to volunteer and then doing FPU, and now it's like, I feel like I know everybody here. So yeah. Just a shameless plug. It's huge.
Yeah.
If you're not doing it, you really should.
And to find that community, you need to be in community to find the best fit for you.
Yeah.
Actually, I am in Ethan's life group because we have met here for breakfast, during our men's breakfast. So I was sitting at the table. He happened to be sitting there. We weren't even familiar with one another first. But in talking and introducing ourselves, we found out that, well, we have some similar backgrounds. And I had shared with Ethan that I had a a child that we cannot take to anybody's house because she might throw up just out of the blue. And Ethan was like, well, you know what? It doesn't matter if she throws up at our house. Just come over next time.
Have you ever heard that?
And that's
story?
how it started.
I love it so much. Like he's saying, we can't go to a group. We want community, but we have a child who still throws up because she can't eat right.
Right.
And he's like, okay, no big deal. Like, bring her.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, you look at Tammy and Ethan and you're like, Tammy's a nurse and Ethan is a firefighter, and they just like, it's like, then it's natural. It's like, who cares? I handle puke all the time. Like, whatever, no big deal. And I remember I was in Africa when I first heard that part of the story, and just like, I am so proud of Ethan and Tammy of like making everybody feel welcome, and then look at the community and look at the reward they got out of your family coming and the relationship that they have. I just love it so much. That is how we learn how to apply the Bible as we're learning it, and we have friends to work through it with and process through and hold each other accountable, encourage each other. Like, that's what this is all about. I love it. I love it so much. I just wanted to end with, you had given a quote by Gracie Hunt that says, following Jesus doesn't spare us from pain, but it means we never face it alone. God doesn't waste our suffering, and he also brings us into community. If we're willing, we have to be willing to get into community. What?
Got to be vulnerable.
Got to be vulnerable. I thought you said normal. I was like, no. We have plenty of life groups that they are not normal.
No, we don't have
kidding.
plenty of life groups.
Right.
We need more.
We so desperately need more life groups
So if
because
you're not in one,
yes.
join one or start one. We need them.
And how you said it seems like a lot of work, but it's friendship, and
It is.
it's so great. It's worth it. Like, we clean our house to have somebody come over for other reasons, or we don't clean our house and we have people come over for other reasons. Why would we not prioritize like getting together with people who are like-minded? Because you even talked about at the station, it's like nobody talks like me at the fire station.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm surrounded all day long by people who don't talk or think or value the things that I value. It's really nice and refreshing to be able to have some space every couple of weeks or whatever with people who do.
For sure.
And it carries you through that time that you're not. So anyways, well, I love that you guys took time. Thank you so much. Thank you, listeners, for being here. I hope that you were encouraged today. Patience in suffering. Hang in there wherever you're at. Find somebody to talk to if you are really struggling, because we want you to be encouraged that God is with you and he is doing something even in the suffering. All right, have a wonderful week, and we will chat again next time. Thanks again for joining us today. We would love for you to tell others about the podcast. Make sure you subscribe to it too, because this will help others find out about it. If you missed it before, we love to hear from you. So if you have any stories to tell about how the message impacted you, or maybe you have a question or comment, make sure you email us at podcast@goodnews.church. Y'all, this is my favorite day of the week. So go give away what you just learned, and we'll chat again next time.